Welcome to my channel Dr. Munshi Nasser Skill Tone. How are you my dear learners? Hope you are doing very good. In this video I am going to talk about how to apply for a master's and PhD with funding opportunity. So let's get started. In this video I am going to talk about something like many of my colleagues and many of my students who already finished their graduation, they are looking for masters or PhD, especially for the higher study. And for them they are facing two problems. First of all, to look at how to look at the supervisors, especially in the Australia or in UK, especially I'm talking about from their perspective. If you want to apply there, especially in the Malaysian universities as well, you need to have a contact with the supervisor, correct? So in that case, how to find your exact match is also very important. Secondly, in order to apply for those universities, especially from UK based universities, Australia, Malaysia, and other universities, not USA or Canada, because US and Canada they require the coursework initially and then you go for the PhD or master's thesis. But usually in Australia or UK or in Canada, some universities and Malaysia especially, you will find that it is often needed a proposal in order to get an admission. Okay, and therefore in this video I'm going to talk about how to find a supervisor and how you fine tune your proposal align with your supervisor choice. So let me show you how to do that. For example, here is a preliminary thesis topic, a proposal, University of Southern Queensland, where I did my PhD. So initially what happened when considering myself as a candidate and I would like to apply in University of Southern Queensland in Australia, so what would be my approach? Okay, so my approach is very simple. First of all, I am going to look at the university faculties. For example, if I am looking for a business faculties or economics faculties or social science faculties, I will go to their website and look for the faculties. And do not just look for the faculties, you just need to go through and study their research, their primary focus of the study, teaching choice and the interest. You need to look all those issues. Sometimes what happen, we write a common email and send every professors. Do not do this. Okay, don't send a common email and send everyone in the university same email. Do not do this. Why? Because at the end of the day, all the professors and teachers of that particular university, they will come and sit down together and have a cup of tea in a teacher's lounge, and they will discuss that one email came to everyone in the university. So they will laugh at your approach, right? So do not do that. Okay, now instead of doing that, in my opinion, you need to choose the proper supervisor, one or two or three supervisors maximum from that particular universities, from that particular subject. So let's assume that I am looking for a supervisor. So this is the University of Southern Queensland website, and I found a supervisor, Professor Jeffrey Gao. He is a professor, and I can see that professor specializing in economics, and he's under a School of Business. Okay, now from Professor Gao, I can go and check his research career, teaching, supervision, all those information, right? So let's assume that I am going to see what the professor's main interest is all about. So in the research career, I can find field of research interest, and his research interest is ecological, environmental science, agriculture, public health and health services, and applied economics, business and management, agriculture, public health. I think related to agriculture, resource economics and public health. Okay, and his research interest more focusing on the health economics, health system, health policy, okay, socio-economic of HIV and AIDS, agricultural economics, as I said that. So if I were you, I would be rather focusing on the health economics. My proposal will align with his interest if I am interested to work under his supervision. or even if I want to interested to collaborate for my next publication. So in that case, for instance, in the proposal, for instance, this is a preliminary proposal from the university guided one. So here you put your name, then instruction, read the instruction, and then you put the proposed principal supervisor name, and this follows for Malaysian universities, for UK, for Australia, for New Zealand, all those universities which follows the UK system, I mean the research based system, it follows the same way. Okay, so the proposed principal supervisor, here you put the Professor Jeffrey Gao, the name of the supervisor. If you want to add a proposed associate supervisor, you can add it. Now the topic that I'm going to select, if I were you, in this case I'm selecting something related to the public health, and that's why I say determination of key variables of the health and well-being of the people, and a comparative analysis of the issues of resource allocation to meet the growing differences between the healthcare systems of the metropolitan and rural and remote areas of Australia. Although the thesis topic is long, but it doesn't matter at the initial stage, it might be narrowed down later on, but at this stage it doesn't matter, it's just focusing on the domain of your interest, and I'm focusing on the health system, well-being, a comparative health system of metropolitan and rural areas of Australia. Now here I choose the aims and scopes. So I can see that my aims to build an econometric model based on a proposed framework and compute the significance of the each variable, to find out how these resources of each variable are being allocated to get the best outcome, and if the amount of resources allocated in proportionate to the weight of the variable. So you can see that at the very initial stage of my aim, I already mentioned what would be my methodology, what I am going to achieve, and how I am going to achieve it. Econometric methodology, significance test of the variables, and I already discussed what I am going to find or expected findings from my research. So that is my aim. Then comes the research question. As you can see here, that what are the most significant and least significant variables that are affecting the health and well-being of the people from rural and remote areas? What problems are faced during the allocation of resources for each variable, which means the research questions are more specific. I'm not talking about a general research question, but instead I'm more focusing on the variable of interest that I'm going to study. Then significance, I wrote the significance, and then background or description of the topic including the key references, so that I already put here, and then the references are also chosen. Okay, and the proposed methods, what are the proposed methodology I'm going to study. Okay, so I can see that what are my proposed study, and I also mentioned what are the packages, softwares, is it a survey or secondary data, all those things I already mentioned over here. And proposed timeline and milestone, very important, you need to have a very specific timeline. For instance, if I say that when you are going to give a detailed proposal, give a timeline. When you are going to give a literature review, give a timeline. When you are going to go and survey your data, give a timeline, deadline. And when you are going to do the data analysis, give a timeline, a very specific timeline. Let's say it is a 3 years program, so each year, in each 6 months of the year, how do you achieve your goal? Put that timeline very specific. Then the supervisor will understand that you are very focused to your study. Okay, and then possible funding of topic activities, you can discuss that as well, and you are urging for the money or support of the funding, and then your signature. So if you follow this type of proposal for your research application for doing masters or PhD, I mean higher studies in Australia, New Zealand, UK or Malaysia or any other universities which follow the UK system, I'm pretty sure the supervisor will be very happy to take you, because you are focusing something which falls under the supervisor's interest as well. So if I were you and if I am the supervisor, I will happily take you, because you read my study, my research interest, you study my profile, and then you wrote down the proposal, and then you send it to me, and since it is aligning with my work, so I will happy to supervise you. And if I am happy to supervise you, which means I will do whatever it takes to bring you in Australia or in New Zealand, and I will try to manage the funding for you. And you are also looking for a scholarship and funding as well, right? So if your supervisor is happy, I'm pretty sure the funding will come eventually. And that's what it happens to me actually. I did the same way and I got the funding from the same universities, and now I did my PhD postdoc just like this way. So all the supervisors are very happy with me because I always try to work with their alignment. If you have a different choice, find someone else who is aligned with your choice. Alignment is very important for doing a master's or PhD thesis and getting a funding in that particular universities. So I hope this video is useful, and the bonus point is this good proposal that I have wrote. This one I already give it for free in my video description box. You can download it, follow it, and then you can improve and write down your own thesis proposal for your next application. So if you think that this video is useful, do subscribe and share, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye bye.